You nailed it on you're probably going to have to put some work into it no matter what, right? It's a HUD foreclosure. The idea, and we did a whole show on this, is that sweat equity is the very essence of the American dream, right? So you're looking for that opportunity, right, Soddee, to have to put in a little bit of work in exchange for $60,000, $70,000 in equity and a cash flowing rental. It's just totally worth it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's the magic sauce in real estate right there. What you just said, that sweat equity. You get people in there to fix the plumbing up. You get somebody in there to put new floors in, and whatever, typically if you're doing this stuff right, whatever it's going to cost you to fix up the flaws or the defects, typically that's going to increase in value way more than what you spent on fixing it up. So that's kind of the magic sauce in real estate is what I call it,
Check 1 2 1 2.
Turn it up.
Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The tides are turning. The time is now.
Your home for the mindset, methodology, and tools needed to invest in foreclosures.
Don't you dare buy a house. Buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
Yeah.
And now your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum.
Hello, and welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. This is your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum, broadcasting to you live from our downtown Denver studios with my executive producer and main man, Mr. Jonathan Winston. What's going on, Jay?
Man, I'll tell you what, I am feeling kind of nostalgic today based on our interview guest. It's a guy that I've known, back when I was a young buck, wet behind the ears, trying to figure stuff out in college. Good dude, always been, stand-up guy, very studious. Whereas, me on the other hand, I might have been having a little bit too much fun back in school, but that's all right. I figured it out eventually. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of enjoying the day and excited to introduce our new guest.
Absolutely. Let's get to that right away. I'm so just ecstatic to have somebody at this caliber on the show here. I'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Soddee Knight. Soddee, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing just fine. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to talking about my favorite subject, real estate investing and how it can change lives, and just really looking forward to get into it. Thanks for having me on the show, Donnie and Jonathan Winston. Looking forward to it.
Well, yes, absolutely. And thank you for taking the time out, man. I know you are super busy, so we're going to try to keep this to the point. But let's start with a little background. We know you own Nightland Company. Can you tell us, obviously you're in the investing space, but with a little more specific, what does Nightland Company specialize in? What's your area, your niche that you focused on in the real estate investing space?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, we are here in Oklahoma City, and also we invest in the Lawton, Oklahoma area. But we kind of our focus now is multifamily real estate. We provide affordable housing to Oklahomans, hardworking Oklahomans, also known as, you probably heard, workforce housing. So, we focus on providing a high quality product at a low price. We go in and a lot of times we buy a foreclosure or some kind of a fixer-upper, maybe even through our marketing campaigns. We buy things and have a crew in there fixing everything up. And a lot of times we put in plank flooring and new appliances and faucets and fixtures and everything new, and go in and rent them out. And so we like generating that passive residual income every month is kind of what we focus on. And once that return on equity kind of starts to reduce, then we go ahead and do a 1031 exchange.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. 1031. That's a big topic a lot of people discuss. Could you go into detail? I mean, obviously I've got a couple 1031s and work with clients who specialize in that as well. What's the big benefit to 1031? Could you give me a kind of a global view on what the 1031 exchange does for you?
Absolutely. 1031 exchange is big time on building wealth. If you want to become very wealthy, utilize a 1031 exchange. And basically all it is typically when you sell a investment property, your gain, the capital gain on that is taxed if you don't do a 1031 exchange. However, there is a code, it's an IRS code, section 1031. If you sell your property through a 1031 exchange and then the proceeds goes to what's called a qualified intermediary, and then the qualified intermediary holds the money, the proceeds, until you have 45 days to identify another property. a more expensive property, you get to keep all that gain tax free. So it's big time, especially if if that capital gain is big, say $100,000, and you had maybe a 20% capital gains rate, depending on your income tax. That could be a ton of money, maybe $20,000. So that's going to just go right into the next property and increase your cash flow, because that's what we like to do here at Nightland Company is have maximize our monthly cash flow and passive income every month.
And that's got to be the goal. And I think a lot of people get into investing, Soddee, because they're looking to produce an income, right? And obviously with the flipping world, and I got to tell you, I'm still kind of guilty of this. I'm addicted to the flipping side. And this is all where you get that big check and you can't stop. You got to go for that next hit and get knocked out of the park. But the big picture is you're trying to build that passive income so you can retire, young and pretty, which is all of our goals here, right? So we can move on and do bigger and better things with our life outside of the money. So obviously you're more of a buy and hold investor. Just general, I don't know any exact numbers, but how many rental properties do you kind of manage right now in your portfolio? Just give me a range, not the exact.
Yeah, no. So right now we have a total of, I believe it's 23 properties, and that includes that's 33 doors. So we have, like I say, multifamily as well. We have duplexes, triplexes, and quads. We're kind of in the small multifamily area, but yeah, we like that. We also do flips too, Donnie, but we just don't focus on flips. Typically, we do flips to get the capital to purchase a multifamily. So that's kind of where we are right now, Donnie.
That makes sense. And listen, and that should be the goal. It should be the goal to take the short-term income bumps of doing flip properties and then take that and transcend it to long-term wealth-building strategies. I mean, right there, you knocked two out of the park there, buy and hold investing and the 1031 exchange. And we're like 5 minutes into this. So this is going to be an incredible show. Like I'm certain.
I told you guys. I told you that he was a studious one back in Oklahoma State. I'm getting my degree in business management. Doing my thing, going to my accounting classes, kind of skipping out. After I got a little bit bored. Soddee, on the other hand, he's a political science. He's got a background with the government, law school, and all that type of stuff. So I expect nothing less than him to drop so much knowledge on us, like right at the beginning. This is just how it goes.
We're already learning a lot. That's incredible. Let me ask you this, Soddee. Let's go back in time, because obviously you guys have a school background together at some point. What's your total background? What were you studying in school back then? Like what did you want to do before the real estate bug bit you?
Man, so yeah, I was all about the political science stuff. I wanted to, be a government attorney. That's what I wanted to do. My dad was a government worker, and so I said, hey, I'll just follow his footsteps. Hey, we lived a good middle class background, and all that kind of stuff, upbringing. And so then I went to law school, and I noticed that a lot of my law professors had rental properties, and I'm thinking, what are these guys doing, And so I kind of looked more into it, and basically everything is set up to benefit the landlord or the property owner. When I say everything, I mean like the local laws as far as landlord tenant, the federal laws as far as the IRS. You get depreciation, as you get different other tax benefits and tax credits, and so I said, this is fantastic. Let's see if maybe I can kind of position myself to do that all the while working for the government. And so I did that. And so I was doing both at the same time, actually. On the weekends and nights, I was, buying foreclosures, buying government foreclosures off the HUD Home Store and others, the Home Path from Freddie Mae and all that. So I was buying those. At nighttime on the weekends, I had a real estate agent that was helping me. And so, yeah, we were doing that. And then I realized that my real estate agent is making a killing off me. So let me go over here and get my own real estate license. And so that's exactly what I did about 3 years ago. Got my own real estate license and, basically to just keep my costs down a little bit and get a little bit more access and information. So yeah, that's what I did. That's kind of my background. I stepped away from the government about a year ago just because my monthly rent checks and flips were far surpassing my government salary, which the government was paying me very, very well, but they wanted me to be there for about 45 hours a week. And I was thinking, I don't want to be anywhere for 45 hours a week.
I love that. What I find fascinating about that story, here's a guy, you go to college, That's hard enough. You go to law school, you pass the bar, right?
Absolutely.
So you've dedicated most of your life here to becoming a lawyer, and then you shifted gears into real estate. I mean, are you guys listening to this? You gotta understand that this is the kind of career, the kind of income that no matter what you've done before, real estate in a lot of cases can blow it away. Both it sounds like you're super passionate about it, something you love to do, and it's paying more than passing the bar and becoming a lawyer. I mean, I just find that incredible. And that's just amazing to me that you managed to balance both. What do you think your real forte? Obviously, multifamily investing seems to really be doing it. You got 23 properties, and you told me 30 some doors you got going right now. Like, what's your big picture vision for this thing? When will you know it's kind of game over for you and you've achieved what you set out to achieve in real estate investing?
Yeah, man. So like I said, I just like accumulating the monthly income, and just basically, I'm almost to a point where I can just kind of shut it down. But right now, we typically have 2 to 3 projects going on at a time, 2 to 3 crews going. So, but whenever I can, basically remove myself completely from the business, because I still kind of oversee some things. When I can remove myself completely from the business, replace myself with another employee kind of at the management level. Of course, we have a lot of folks that work for us, but whenever I can replace myself completely, have the income that we need to have, and be able to live where I want to live anytime, vacation for as long as I want to, with who I want to, for do whatever I want to, and also drive whatever I want to. I like fast cars, and right now I got one of these big Hemis. You've probably seen them before, and so I like these fast cars. So that's kind of my goal. And then also I want to give to charity. I want to give back to the different educational institutions that I attended. I want to give back to Oklahoma State. I want to give back to my alma mater, my law school alma mater, Southern University Law School. I also want to give back to some other charitable organizations. So I made a pledge to my wife that basically we're done when I can give $1 million to Oklahoma State, $1 million to my law school, and $1 million to another charitable organization that I really enjoy. And at that point, I'll probably be done. But the whole thing is it's kind of addicting. You do a transaction, and then all of a sudden you got more money coming in every month. It's kind of addicting.
And it's so funny you say that, because like I said, I mentioned that addiction word too, but that people who are in this have to be passionate about it at a very high level, because, on the show, and generally speaking, you hear the positives of it. You hear the after effect of getting to 23 properties, but obviously there's a lot of hustle that got you to where you are today. There were some difficulties. There were some times it didn't seem like it was all going to work out. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There was several times. And I think, a mentor would have helped. I wish I would have got a mentor sooner, or a tax strategist sooner. Of course, I have those things now, but yeah, there was times when, when things didn't work out the way you thought they would. When, doing a major flip, you thought you were going to make 60,000 and you only made 30,000. So, there's times when, it just, as much analysis as you put into it, when you're kind of just flying by the seat of your pants, sometimes things just don't go right, but you got to know that the overall vision is right for you. And that's kind of what I knew. I knew that the overall vision was right for me and my lifestyle and for my family. And basically that's kind of what kept me going.
Yeah, and you have to have that. You have to have that overall vision. I'm so glad you brought up mentorship. Obviously, I'm a real estate coach and an investor myself, and I tell people that, but it comes across as just trying to sell, our services as coaching. But I think there's a reality to, if you have that right guidance out there when times get hard and you have that correct mentor you can lean on, it's just that much easier to kind of push your way through those issues. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the fact that you recognize that early on, and I love that you mentioned getting a tax professional. Actually, you and I got to talk about that after the show, because I'm kind of a
Johnny wants a Ferrari, and they want to make sure they don't take it away.
That's right, because the federal government wants to take all of it, right? That's but you built this thing up. You got this empire. You've got this huge vision. I love. Giving $1 million back to OSU. I bet the Booster Club right now, they got to be. They hear this show, they're gonna be calling you right away.
Well, don't tell them to call yet, because we still got some more properties to buy, some more passive income to make, some more flips to do. So, if they call too soon, they're gonna make the whole thing come crashing down.
That's right. Don't get too early, right? We got it too
Yeah.
early. Let's transcend a little bit over. You mentioned HUD Home Store and buying some HUD properties. Of the doors that you've acquired to keep, do you have any idea number-wise how many of those were off a HUD Home Store? Or did you flip those properties or keep them, or where did you source those first initial deals?
Yeah. So HUD Home Store, we've used that several times. I believe we have 7 properties, and those are mostly good for single family houses. So that was kind of like when we were first starting out. So we had some single family houses, and you go on there, and it's a bidding process. And basically, there's a whole lot of regulations and rules kind of behind the bidding, and how it's kind of a complicated algorithm on how it works and when they will accept your offer for a certain amount. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you give them an offer of 89% or more of what they're asking, and you're the highest bidder, then they are required to award you the contract under the federal regulations. So, just keep that in mind for all your listeners out there. Go on the HUD Home Store, offer 89% of whatever you got, whatever you want, and there's a high likelihood that you'll get it. But of course, you can offer a whole lot less than that and still win. And that's exactly what I've done a lot of times, Donnie. So there's a couple times when I offered, and there's a button that you click on there that says hold my offer for backup or something like that.
Right.
I offered a deal in April, completely forgot about it. I mean, I lowball the heck out of them. It was ridiculous how lowball I did. And I clicked that button. It was basically, hold my offer for backup offer. And then later in September of that year, I get a call from a HUD Home Store, and they say, hey, do you still want to buy this? I'm thinking, what deal is that? Because I've looked at 100 deals since then, But
Right, I forgot.
it was such a good deal that we went ahead and bought it. Now, it was a foreclosure, so the house didn't have any plumbing, didn't have any flooring, no electrical. But, my crews went in there and fixed it up for, a really good rate, because I use them every time for all my deals. And, just basically made, I think we made about 60 to 70,000 in equity, just based on everything that we had into it and what it appraised for. So, lowball the heck out of those HUD Home Store deals. Now, this was back in 2000. I want to say maybe 2015. So it's a little bit different landscape now.
Hi, this is Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. One of the things we talk about on the show is the importance of great foreclosure data in helping you to find a great deal on a foreclosure property. But where do you find this data? You're certainly not going to find it on Realtor.com. You can't get it on your local MLS. So we have partnered with data provider Foreclosures.com to get you the latest and greatest in foreclosure listings right there in your local market. These properties are not hit the market in most cases, and when they have been foreclosed, gives you easy access to find out more detail so you can get the best deal on a foreclosure property. Getting started is super easy. Head on out to foreclosuredealscoach.com and click on the link labeled foreclosure list. Enter your zip code for a free 7-day trial of the best foreclosure listing data available in your local market. These properties are not even on the market yet, so you can get a jump on them and get a great deal. Once again, this is Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. We'll look forward to seeing you there. But it's still out there. And it's important, because this is a Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast, Soddee, that, we try to direct people to how to find their foreclosure deals that are out there. And I think because HUD is so different than the standard offer process, a lot of people shy away from it. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because it's not that scary. You can get deals, you can submit bids on the property and then wait it out. Like sometimes you get them right away. Sometimes it happens down the road. The point is, you mentioned $60,000, $70,000 in an equity spread on a single HUD transaction. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and that thing is still cash flowing for us today, and it brings in very good income. So the HUD Home Store is fantastic. I always encourage people, if you don't have a lot of time to market for your own deals, sending out marketing materials and all that kind of stuff, then just go on the HUD Home Store and get a good old foreclosure. Yeah, you might have to fix it up a little bit, but most of the time it's going to be a good deal. And also, one of the best things about HUD is you get 2 inspection reports before you even buy the property. You get those. I think it's called
Yep.
a PCR
Property,
or something like that.
yep. PCR,
And
property condition report, and property disclosure.
yes. So basically, they're spot on every time. I've never had a deal where that there was something wrong with the property that wasn't in that report. So you basically get what's wrong with it before you even bid on it, which is unheard of.
That's incredible. And I will tell you, your mileage may vary on that, because I will tell you, the HUD inspectors in my region, you wouldn't trust them to watch, to open a door, because they'd probably screw it up.
Hey Donnie,
yes.
When you were mentioning those two forms, or those 2 reports, you kind of broke up a little bit. So just for the listeners, could you repeat what those reports are called if they do go on the HUD home store and want to search?
Absolutely. Property condition report, or PCR for short, as Soddee mentioned, and property disclosure, which is, basically they've done an inspection on the property prior to you purchasing it. So as Soddee mentioned, you're going in knowing theoretically what you're buying rather than surprise, But the point is, you nailed it on you're probably going to have to put some work into it no matter what, right? It's a HUD foreclosure. The idea, and we did a whole show on this, is that sweat equity is the very essence of the American dream. Right. So you're looking for that opportunity, right, Soddee, to have to put in a little bit of work in exchange for $60,000, $70,000 in equity and a cash flowing rental. It's just totally worth it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's the magic sauce in real estate right there. What you just said, that sweat equity. You get people in there to fix the plumbing up. You get somebody in there to put new floors in, and whatever, typically if you're doing this stuff right, whatever it's going to cost you to fix up the flaws or the defects, typically that's going to increase in value way more than what you spent on fixing it up. So that's kind of the magic sauce in real estate, is what I call it.
Yeah, and it's so true, because, you can put in, and as you are obviously the type of person who puts in a lot of work, going to law school and working your way up into the government job and all that stuff, you're going to put your hustle in somewhere, right? The work's going to go somewhere. It might as well be on something that not only pays an income, as most jobs pay, but also has a residual equity value and a residual income, right? So it's really just a question of where you're going to direct that energy. The house needs plumbing, the house needs paint, and I love what you said about hiring somebody to do that. I don't know about you, but I can't swing a hammer without hurting myself or somebody else, right? So I'm not looking for you to become like Mr. Super Handy, but rather hire this stuff out, and you can double, triple, if not quintuple your investment on that by investing into a property that's going to provide for a long-term return.
Absolutely, and Donnie, I see newer investors make the big time mistake of thinking that they're going to save money by doing the work themselves.
Yeah,
and
yeah, right.
That is a big time mistake for all you new investors out there. You are not going to save money unless you are actually a professional plumber or a professional electrician and you're licensed. Then I can understand that. But many times you're going to take 4 times as long to do whatever you need to do. And you're going to take 4 trips to Lowe's, and it's going to be a big headache, and you're not going to do it as well as a licensed professional. So, and you're only one person. You can only do one job at a time. For somebody like me who, I always have multiple projects going on, if I were to sit here and try to do all my own projects, I would go bankrupt, just because, we have properties and units that are empty, and we need to get those things rented out as quickly as possible, or what have you, or sold as quickly as possible. So we get professionals, that are always working on our properties and doing these things so that, they're fixed the first time, they're fixed right, and they're fixed quickly and for a reasonable price, because we use the same folks every time. So, you new investors, go to the RIAs to find out who the good contractors are, the good plumbers, the good HVAC guys, and they will they'll work with investors. They love working with investors, and they'll do a good job. They'll do it right the first time. You pay them whatever they ask, and they'll want to come back and do more work with you. Don't try to whittle them down and get it for almost free. Just pay them what they want, and then they'll come back running next time you have an issue.
That's incredible advice, Soddee, and I really thank you for that, because I think there's a general consensus that you're trying to get over on people. Either you're trying to get over on the distressed home seller, or you're just trying to get over on the contractor, and that somehow you have to make your living in this business by other people losing. And it's just not the case. If you build these solid relationships with your contractor team, note that word there, team, because you're looking to build a team of guys that you can build this empire together as a group, and a lot of what we discuss on this show is mindset, methodology, and tools of foreclosure investing. But the biggest part of it is the mindset. The mindset is we all grow together, So if you've got a good contractor, a stellar electrician, you pay him his daily rate because he's worth it. And in exchange, he does a great job for you and get consistent work. But it's about everybody winning, not just one portion of the system winning. I love that you said that. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, big time. This is a team sport, just like you said, team. It's all about team. You can't do this stuff on your own. You got to have a good insurance guy. You got to have a good lender or a couple of lenders. You got to have good title people to do your title work. You got to have good, every single thing. You're not going to be able to do this job, do this profession by yourself. You're going to need a lot of people to help you out. You're going to need buy-in. You got to get that vision going so that they know what you're trying to do, and everybody can help everybody out, because everybody, this is a team thing. You're not operating inside of a vacuum. So big time. I like how you said that, Donnie.
Well, thank you for that, man. Yeah, listen, it's incredible to meet like-minded individuals. It's really the power of the show, Soddee, is to get, you got to listen to my obnoxious voice. If you're downloading the show every single week, you got to hear me all the time. But when people are echoing the same sentiment as me, that, listen, you're successful. You built an empire where you're at right now by taking that team mentality, and together, everyone achieves more, right? And you've heard that acronym related to team, but it's just so true. You're trying to build an empire, and you can't do it by yourself, and you shouldn't want to do it by trying to get over on people or knock people's prices down just as a business. Now, that mean we don't negotiate? Of course we negotiate, right? If we're not happy with the bid, hey man, could I got a little less margin on this, etc. But you don't make it a business practice. Generally speaking, if they're priced fairly, you pay them for what they're doing, because your overall return is significantly better than the $600 you pay the electrician to get it in line for that one little piece. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, guys, can I say something here?
Please.
Now, you've both have been talking about team a lot, and I completely agree with where you're going with that. But let me highlight something that I've noticed about both of you and your concept of team. Now, Soddee, a couple of times during what you've been talking about so far, you've mentioned that your wife was the one who motivated you to create the coursework to, keep you from creating all those, having all those 25 calls after you got done with your government job. You also mentioned that your wife, you and your wife are working together. Hey, when I'm able to give $1 million to OSU, $1 million to Southern University, and $1 million to another charity that I love, then we'll be able to move forward. And, I can kind of take that step back. I noticed the same thing with Donnie. His wife, Laura, we've had her on the show before. She's an incredible agent, very experienced. She's, got great experience and great creative insight on staging. So she handles that for us in our fix and flips as well. And, you need a team of, professionals and contractors and all those people to help you do your real estate. But it also comes back to having a good team at home and having somebody that shares your vision at home and that encourages you and that can build you up and that can, move in unison with you to accomplish those goals and dreams. So I really respect that and appreciate that about you guys. One thing that that kind of made me laugh when I was checking out your Facebook page is you were going through your daily tips for a while. And I think maybe your wife was recording because I heard the little baby in the background crying and, getting kind of going and stuff like that. So it's just, I'm a single guy out here. I haven't got that out yet. You've probably heard about some of that on our show before, but to see two, black men embracing family, and taking their family to heights that, they haven't been before, by working together is just really inspiring. And I appreciate you guys for that.
Hey,
yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was you made a good point now, and I'm gonna just touch on that now. Now my wife is on board with everything after she's seen a couple of years of these steady rent checks coming. But let me tell you, Jonathan, at first at first, she was like, "So what do you mean? What do you mean you're gonna eventually quit your job and do real estate?" She was not on board with that at first. Because she comes from a traditional background, kind of like I did. Her parents worked for the government. My parents worked for the government. So it was kind of like we grew up as, hey, get a safe, steady, secure job and live middle class, rather than maybe live middle class and maybe make $100,000 a year, right? But my
Right.
vision is, hey, we can do more than this. We can be better. We don't have to work somewhere for someone else for 45 hours a week. And that was kind of my vision. So after, a couple years of rent checks coming in, then she got on board. Now she's really on board with, with the rent checks. And she kind of enjoys and has embraced the role of the interior designer when we go in and fix up these homes. She picks out the cabinets and the hardware and the colors, and so she loves doing that, and she gets all that stuff delivered to the job site so that the crew can get it all squared away, and it brings her a lot of joy to do that. So I'm happy that she loves doing that stuff, because at first it was kind of an uphill battle to get her on the side of hey, let's do our own thing, let's make our own money rather than having other relying on somebody paying us a paycheck.
And let's face it, happy wife, happy life. And it's so poignant you brought up the embracing the interior design. Like, my wife's our interior design team as well, and she picks out the colors and she does the staging. She's just excellent at it. She just got an incredible passion for that. But the point is this is a family and a team business, reaching out to guys like you, Soddee, and meeting guys like you, and hearing that, we all kind of share this thing. We may be doing it independently until meeting you right before the show here today, but we're all kind of share that same vision. You want to connect with people. And listeners out there, listen, Foreclosure Deals Coach listeners, you got to build your tribe. It really does start right there in your home with your spouse and your family and et cetera. But that tribe's got to extend way past that, because there are guys out there who have been where you've been, right? I've been where you've been. Soddee has been where you've been. There are people who are trying to get their spouse on board who maybe weren't super excited when we first got going, but now are fully on board. You're not doing this alone, And then the fact that you're a listener to this show is just kind of connecting you with this tribe of people. With that, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show here, Soddee. How can somebody reach out to you and pick your brain a little bit more if you're still available, or get your coursework, or et cetera? Could you give us some contact details so they can touch base with you?
Absolutely. I would love to, I love to help out new investors. You guys can reach me at nightlandcompany.com. That's Night with a K, land company all spelled out.com, nightlandcompany.com, and then just click on the contact us, and me or someone on our team will reach back out to you. And if you got any questions, you can just leave those questions on there, and I should be able to see those. And then if you're interested in the course, I like to do, my course is just a one-on-one coursework where I just lead you through, me personally, I lead you through kind of some of the details and information that that you're trying to get to. Basically, if you're trying to get from point A to point B, I'll help you get from point A to point B. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. You can just reach me on that go to that website, and I'd be happy to talk to you guys out there.
That's awesome, Soddee. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. Guys, listen, the tribe is forming. We are building a massive alliance of foreclosure investors from coast to coast, all across the United States of America. You're hearing it happen right now. And this is not just a show. I want you guys to know this is way more than a show. This is a movement, okay?
Yes.
We're looking to go out there and change lives. It's a cultural push, it's a personal push, but where you're at right now, listening to the show, wondering what the next move is, we're all going through this coronavirus thing together, right? I'm sure there's been business models that have had to change, and maybe you're revisiting your life right now. Tune in, guys. Listen to what's happening out here. There are people who have been through what you've been through and are heading the next direction. The opportunities are out there. You just got to stay the course and don't let yourself get shaken. Soddee, it has been absolutely incredible to have you.
We appreciate you, Soddee. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. If there's any way I can help you guys out or anything, I'd love to. If you ever come to the Oklahoma City metro area, please look me up, and we can do lunch, and we can talk. This is something that I really enjoy. Maybe later on down the line we can do this again, but thanks for having me. It was a real honor to be on the show today.
Well, the true honor was having you, Soddee, and definitely having you back in the show. I'd love to dive deeper into some of the points that we brought up and hopefully make you a relatively consistent guest on the show. I am certain the listeners got a lot out of what you added today. Guys, we're going to wrap up with that. We try to keep these to a reasonable time frame out of respect for our listeners' time. Really appreciate you tuning into the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. Once again, to get going, you're going to head out to foreclosuredealscoach.com. Check out what we got going on there. And then you want to really get going, you want to try out the software out there that can help you to evaluate your first couple of deals. We use PropStream, and if you go to
PropStream.
foreclosuredealscoach.com/PropStream. We'll do a free 15-minute analysis call. We'll walk you through a deal, whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the country. We will help to get you through that deal so you're doing your first couple of deals with confidence. With that, this is Donnie Corum, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, reminding you now and always, when you're out there looking, don't buy a house,
buy a deal.
Want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Hit subscribe and stay tuned for more of the mindset, methodology, and tools you'll need to invest in foreclosures. Visit foreclosuredealscoach.com and text DEAL to get a list of foreclosures in your area.